Every epic journey has moments of levity. This is one. Willow visits O'Neill at the Antarctic outpost in her own way. Cassie chooses between colleges. Willow tries giving sage advice. And rumor is that Daniel screams like a schoolgirl. Hey everyone, this is TH Stories 80 where we narrate fanfiction audiobooks. Now we begin chapter 24 of an extraordinary journey. Ancient Outpost, Antarctica. Earth, 2 months 10 days after the Battle of Antarctica. The ice-covered underground outpost of the Ancients. The place where Colonel O'Neill had nearly sacrificed his life to defeat Anubis was eerily silent. It had been a little over 2 months since the Battle of Antarctica, and the Antarctic Council had finally allowed a multinational scientific expedition to access the site. About a week earlier, a group of scientists, engineers, and specialists had arrived, setting up habitat domes on the surface and preparing for the infrastructure needed to access the underground outpost. For the most part, the skeleton crew stationed below were exhausted. They had spent days installing monitoring and experimental systems, researching the strange ancient chair, and keeping watch over Colonel O'Neill. Many hoped that the stasis pod he rested in would somehow remove the ancient knowledge from his mind. However, in her report, Willow, based on what she remembered from being mentally linked to O'Neill, explained that the ancient information was still spreading through his mind, albeit at a much slower rate. The pod, she reiterated, was only a stopgap measure. His mind was still degrading. Something permanent needed to be done. Most of the personnel were on the surface in the domes, finally taking a much-needed break, when Willow suddenly appeared out of thin air near the ancient chair. To any observer, it would have looked like the air shimmered for a moment, then formed the outline of a human figure until Willow's astral form emerged. She breathed a sigh of relief upon confirming she was alone. She wasn't in the mood to explain her presence, or why she only wore pajama bottoms, an oversized Hello Kitty shirt, and fuzzy bunny slippers in the bitter cold of Antarctica. Leaving no footprints on the frost-coated floor and producing no sound at all, Willow drifted toward the Colonel's stasis pod. She gave a small wave toward the security camera overlooking him, still unsure if this device could actually perceive her astral form. Some cameras detected her, others glitched whenever she appeared. This form was something she had discovered after gaining control over her telepathy, though she only could travel to places she had physically been before. She already caused quite a stir at the SGC, walking through Carter's lab wall, appearing before Daniel and shouting "boo," causing him to scream like a schoolgirl, and haunting the hallways in her bunny slippers. More than a few airmen had sworn they saw her turn a corner, only to find the hallway empty when they followed. Willow found it hilarious. Dr. Weir did not, so she had agreed to stop. Now standing before the stasis pod, Willow hovered her hand just above the ice-like barrier. She wished, desperately, that there was something she could do to help the man trapped inside. She glanced to her left and noticed, for the first time, someone stirring on a nearby cot, surrounded by unopened boxes and idle monitors. She drifted closer and read the name stitched on his jacket. Beckett Carson. She noticed silently with a nod. Turning back to the pod, Willow's expression softened with sorrow before she spoke. "Hi, Colonel," she whispered. "I don't know if you can hear me, but I hope you can. I relayed your last order to Major Carter. She already tried to contact the Asgard, but nothing. No response. She still thinks they're the best chance to help you, since they've done it before." She paused. "The team says hi. Daniel said he'll keep recording The Simpsons for you. And Teal'c? Well, he just raised an eyebrow and said he hopes you'll be out of here soon." Willow took a deep breath. Her control over telepathy had improved over the past few weeks, and she discovered she could project thoughts. Carter and Dr. Weir believed it would become an invaluable tactical advantage in the field. Silent communication, impossible to intercept. For now, she used it gently, directing her thoughts toward O'Neill. "Major Carter is hoping you'll get out of here soon, so you can go bother her in her lab. I think she misses talking technobabble with you, sir." She searched his eyes, desperate for a flicker of recognition, anything. But there was nothing. No link, No emotion, just the eerie stillness of stasis. She hesitated, then confided something that had weighed on her mind. Sir, I found out something about Major Carter's, friend, Shanahan, the cop. He's been following her. I don't know how long, but he keeps thinking she spends too much time with me and Cassie. What would you do? Would you tell her, even without proof? Or should I just mind my own business? Is that what you do, sir? Silence. Willow's shoulders fell. I should have taken the download, sir, she mentally admitted. I should have pushed you away on that planet and taken it myself. Maybe things would be different. I still remember a lot of what I saw through our link, and it hasn't hurt me. Even if it had, it would have been worth it. She sighed and then continued. Daniel, Teal'c, especially Major Carter, the whole SGC misses you. I miss you, sir. We need you back. Suddenly, she sensed movement. Footsteps. Airmen doing their rounds. Sorry, sir, I have to go. They're coming. And it'd be better if you don't see me. I'll come back tomorrow. I'll come back every night until you're out of that pod. You won't be alone, I promise. Willow stepped back, gave him one last look, and vanished. Just seconds before two guards walked past the colonel. Willow's apartment, a few seconds later. Willow woke up to find herself lying on the couch in her apartment, her fuzzy bunny-covered feet dangling off the edge. She slowly sat up, breathing deeply. At least it was just a projection to Antarctica, she thought. If the colonel had been trapped off-world, I don't think I could have pulled that off. She glanced at the clock. It was already 11:30 at night, and her stomach let out a disgruntled growl. Great, she muttered, pushing herself up and heading toward the kitchen. Halfway there, she stubbed her toe. Oh, for crap's sake! She hopped on one foot, cradling her fuzzy bunny toe. She noticed Cassie's door open and a sleepy head poke out. Hey, Cass, Willow said with a grimace. Sorry if I woke you. No problem, Cassie replied. I was just studying for exams. Oh, fun, Willow said with a small laugh, still limping. You want something to eat? Sure, what are you making? Well... Willow opened the fridge, stared inside, then straightened and turned back to Cassie. We have a problem. What kind of problem? A big problem. Willow smirked. Too much food. I don't know what to choose. A few minutes later, the two were settled on the couch with sandwiches and potato chips for a late-night snack. So, Cassie, Willow said, chewing thoughtfully, have you talked to Major Carter about Colonel O'Neill? Yeah, Cassie replied softly. You're all still trying to get him out. Yep, we are trying to contact some of our allies. Hopefully we'll hear something sooner rather than later. I hope you're right, Cassie said. I don't think I can handle it if Uncle Jack doesn't come back. He'll come back, Cass, Willow said gently. You'll see. Cassie nodded and took another bite of her sandwich. Oh, Willow said suddenly. Have you gotten any responses from the colleges you applied to? Yeah, I have. I got response letters from MIT, Harvard, Georgetown, and Colorado State. That's an eclectic mix, Willow said. Why Colorado State? I applied there to be closer to you guys, Cassie admitted. Honestly, I'm scared to go to the others. How come? Everyone I know is here. You, Sam, Uncle Jack, Teal'c, Daniel. Why would I want to go anywhere else? Willow couldn't help but smile. There was a name in Cassie's thoughts. Let me guess. Dominic's also headed to Colorado State. Maybe? Cassie muttered, blushing. Aha! Willow pointed, laughing. I knew it. Cassie sank deeper into the couch, still pink. Maybe? Have you told Major Carter yet? Willow asked. Not yet. I checked the mail after she dropped me off. You were asleep, so I didn't want to bother you. It's no bother, Willow said kindly. Can I give you a piece of advice? Sure. I think you should seriously consider Harvard, Georgetown, or MIT, Willow said. Leave Colorado out of it. Why? Cassie asked, surprised. Well, Willow said thoughtfully, if you're choosing Colorado State just because of Dominic, that's not a great reason. You shouldn't plan your future around a boyfriend, or a maybe boyfriend. If you go somewhere else, you might have an even better, more exciting time. And who knows, you might meet someone better than Dominic. She grinned. Besides, you know what they say, absence makes the heart grow fonder. If you go out of state, maybe Dominic will think about you even more. Maybe you're right, Cassie sighed. I'll tell you one thing, Willow said. I don't regret leaving Sunnydale. What do you have against Sunnydale? Cassie asked. It's your hometown, right? Just because it's my hometown doesn't mean I have to stay forever, Willow said. I got offers from top schools too, but I chose UC Sunnydale to stay close to my friends, and honestly, after taking time to think about it, I think that was a mistake. She continued, Sunnydale's a nice place, and I plan to visit when I can, but I like it here in Colorado Springs. If I'd stayed in Sunnydale, I wouldn't have met you, Major Carter, Colonel O'Neill, Daniel, or Teal'c. I wouldn't have this amazing job either. I get what you're saying, Cassie nodded. Hey, next time you visit Sunnydale, can I come? You'll have to ask Major Carter about that, Willow said, smiling. Speaking of her, Cassie added, Sam wanted me to remind you we're having dinner with them tomorrow. Them? Willow raised an eyebrow. That a-hole is coming, Cassie muttered, meaning Pete. Apparently, he wants to get to know us better. I bet he does, Willow muttered under her breath, her thoughts turning to the car outside their apartment. Did you say something? No, Willow said quickly. I just don't feel comfortable around that guy. So you do believe me that he's been following Sam? Do I tell her about the cop outside our apartment? Willow wondered. No, that would just worry her. There's no proof yet, Cass, Willow said gently. Hey, you never told me what you got accepted for at Harvard, MIT, and Georgetown. That's great, Willow beamed. That would be such a beautiful way to honor Dr. Fraser. Who knows, maybe one day the SGC will have another Dr. Fraser poking injured people with big needles. Cassie laughed. Let's see what Sam says. I'll ask her tomorrow. Major Carter's lab, SGC, the next day. Good morning, Major, said Willow as she came in with 2 cups of coffee and handed one to Carter. Is it morning already? Said the Major, looking dazed. Yes, ma'am, replied Willow. Have you been here the whole night? Yeah, she said. I wanted to stay in case the Asgard called back about the Colonel. Oh, did you manage to send the Colonel a message yesterday? I did, said Willow. The Colonel is non-responsive, but I gave him the messages. Not sure if he heard me though. Good morning, Willow, Sam, said Daniel, yawning as he walked into Major Carter's lab with Teal'c. Good morning, Willow Rosenberg, Major Carter, said Teal'c. Good morning, guys, said Willow and the Major together. What, no coffee for me? Whined Daniel. Well, how am I supposed to know you're going to be here this early in the morning? Said Willow, grinning. Daniel mumbled something about the base coffee tasting like gruel before he walked to the door of the lab, looked around to see if there was anyone in the corridors, and then walked back in. So, did you see Jack last night? He whispered at Willow. Yes, I visited the stasis pod last night and gave him the messages, said Willow, nodding. But I don't know if the cameras caught me talking to him. Hold on, said Major Carter. Let me pull up the footage from the outpost. Willow, Teal'c, and Daniel stood behind Major Carter as she pulled up the camera from the Antarctic outpost from the previous night. As they watched the video, Carter fast-forwarded to a few seconds before Willow said she visited the Colonel. The screen distorted before losing all video. Said the Major. The feed went blank. What happened? Asked Willow and Daniel. How long were you in Antarctica? Willow Rosenberg asked Teal'c. Maybe 5 minutes? Said Willow. Sam, how long is the video out for? Asked Daniel as Carter fast-forwarded the blank footage until a picture of Colonel O'Neill in the stasis pod reappeared with 2 airmen walking past him. About 5 minutes, said the Major as she turned around and looked at Willow. I think our hypothesis may be right. This astral projection of yours must release some kind of electromagnetic field. It could interfere with unshielded equipment such as the cameras at the outpost. The systems at the SGC are shielded against electromagnetic interference, said Major Carter. But the systems they have in the outpost right now are not. So you may have affected those systems. Carter sighed. I'll remind them to upgrade the cameras. Anyway, interrupted Daniel, you guys up for breakfast? Let's go, said the Major before turning to Willow. After breakfast, we should take a look through the drawings you made. We can go through the specs and try to figure out what they do and if we can recreate some working models. Sure, replied Willow. Oh, Carter said just as they left her lab. Don't forget, today we are having dinner with Cassie and Pete. Oh, please kill me now, thought Willow to herself. Yep, Cass reminded me last night, said Willow as they walked toward the mess hall. O'Malley's Bar and Grill, Colorado Springs, 8 p.m. Hi Sam, said Cassie as she sat down facing Major Carter. Hello Peter, she added to the man sitting next to her guardian. Pete looked up from the menu, a flicker of irritation in his eyes. He hated when people called him Peter. He always preferred Pete. Hi Cassandra, said Pete, and it's Pete, not Peter. Hey Cass, said Carter, giving Cassie a warm hug. Where's Willow? She's trying to find a parking spot, Cassie replied. Oh, there she is. She stood and waved as Willow approached. Willow gave a small wave to Major Carter and Cassie. Hi Major. Hi Peter, she said, glancing at Pete. It's Pete, he corrected sharply. Sorry, Willow said with a smile and a shrug, though she clearly heard his unspoken irritation. Oh, how I wish I could wipe the smile off your face. So, shall we order? Major Carter asked, redirecting the mood. Let's, I'm starving, Willow said. Once they had ordered their drinks and food, they shifted to safe topics, nothing classified. So, Cass, Willow asked, turning to her, have you decided which college you're going to yet? Yep, Cassie said. I think I'll study medicine at Georgetown. That's great, Willow said as the drinks arrived. She stood slightly and raised her glass to Cassie and her quest to becoming a doctor. They all toasted. So Pete, Willow continued as she sat back down, are you still commuting between Colorado Springs and Denver? Not anymore, Pete replied. This was going to be a surprise, but I just got my official transfer to the Colorado Springs Police Department. Really? Said Major Carter, leaning in to hug him. Congratulations. Yep, Pete said with a grin in her direction. Now you won't be able to get rid of me that easily. He laughed. And neither will these two. I'm here to stay now. There is nothing you can do to keep us apart. Willow caught the smug grin on his face as that thought echoed through his mind. Cold shivers slid down her spine. She wasn't sure why. Was it the way he had followed them in his car before? Something about him set off all her empathic alarms, but she had no proof to bring to Carter, only suspicions. For now, Willow decided to keep those concerns to herself. To be continued.